Don't have the time, don't have the money. Let's get started and talk about it. How many of you, I know I've done this, say, I'm too busy. I just simply don't have the time, or it's not in the budget. I don't have the money. Let's unpack this and find out what we're really feeling and thinking. I looked up a list of all the things that people typically say they don't have time to do, and I added some of my own. Some of these I'm definitely guilty of. First one, exercise. That's a common one. Second one, reading, going outdoors, family time or social time, cooking from scratch and meal prepping. This one I added, returning phone calls and emails, deep cleaning, decluttering, reading your Bible, some kind of spiritual time, or going to church, doctor appointments. These are just a few. I'm sure there's tons of things. I know that many times when I say I don't have the time, it's not that I don't have the time. It's just that the time that I do have left, I want to chill out, maybe watch Netflix or read a really good book or spend some time socializing with a friend. Some of these other things maybe not sound so fun. For example, let's say you do have a phone call you're supposed to return to a relative, but they're really difficult to get off the phone and they're kind of draining. You know what? You keep saying, oh, I've been really busy. I just haven't had the time to call you back. Some of these things I really feel like we don't have to do. If you don't want to make time for some of these things, I think it's time to take them off our list. Really look over this list of whatever it is. Doesn't have to be the list I read you, and decide what's really important to you. What do you really think would be good to spend time doing? And let's say you look over this list and there's 4 things that you say, you know what? I'm simply not going to make time for those things. Whether they're good or not, it's not something that I want to spend time doing. You take them off your list. Then, so you prioritize. You look over the list and you decide what is the most important thing that I want to spend time doing, because time is so valuable. It's like money. Budgeting your time, like budgeting your calories, budgeting your money. All of these things are really important. What do you really want to spend your time doing? Look over that and decide, and circle the things that are the very most important to you. So you prioritize. Then the next thing is jot some things down on a calendar and set it in stone. So let's say there is a closet you've been really wanting to go through, and you really want to go through it, but it just really seems overwhelming. Put it on your calendar to do, and maybe say for an hour, on 2 Saturdays this month, I'm scheduling and I'm blocking that I'm going to go through this closet for an hour each day. You'd be surprised, after that hour, you might just keep going and finish it all in one day. So those were a few tips that I came up with. I just know that there's many things that I've said over the years that I just don't have time to do. What it really was is I didn't want to have time to do it. Another thing, and this is huge, especially with us all trying to make sure to either stay debt-free or pay off debt, and that we have money in savings and investments, and we're working on living a frugal life and improving our spending plan. Many folks that approach us with purchasing certain things, we a lot of times say, well, it's not in our budget. It's not that it's not in our budget. Now, it may not be in some people's case, but many times what it is it's just not worth the money to spend. Because I'm outgoing, I have so many people that try to sell me things. And they're like, oh, you should really try these vitamins. They do a blood test and they're going to give you the perfect vitamins for your body. And then it's like a couple $100s a month. Do I have $200 a month to spend on that? If I want to, but I really don't want to spend the money on that. So instead of saying, oh, it's not in my budget, I could say, I'm not interested, but thank you for thinking of me. That's kind of what I've been doing. It's a more honest answer, because I found if I say, well, it's not in my budget at this time, or I can't afford it at this time, they'll say, well, can I check with you in a few months? And because I'm people pleaser, I'd say sure, and then I would waste that person's time. So to me, I think it's about time, for at least for myself, that we're honest with each other. Now, there are times where we simply really don't have the time for things, or we may simply not have the money for things. This is not in every case. But in many of my cases, when I look over my life, when I've said I'm too busy, I don't have the time, and I don't have the money, it's simply because I don't want to spend the time and I don't want to spend the money. Let me know what you guys think. If any of this is relatable to you, And I'd like to know, if somebody approaches you and you're not interested in purchasing something, how do you say it? Do you say, oh, it's not in my budget? Or do you simply say, I'm not interested in that product? Thank you for thinking of me. It's not something I'm interested in. Because if you say, I'm not interested at this time, I can guarantee you they're going to check with you in a few months. So we have to have some closure there, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. What do you not have the time for? And what do you not have the money for? You know I love to hear from you. And thank you, Jan, for the fabulous video. I'm going to link her video below. I appreciate each and every one of you. I love you, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.